Welcome to the Let's Figure It Out podcast. I said that because I thought I had a name, but I don't. So for right now, we're just going with the Let's Figure It Out podcast. I'm DZ or Olante, but I feel like most people call me DZ, but a lot of people call me a lot of stuff. So you can call me DZ though. D and Z. Hopefully you enjoy the video, and yeah, that's all I got. Are we discovering who we are or actively creating ourselves? I think it's kind of like both. Like I think you're when you're born, you kind of have like who you could be. And I feel like as we live life, like every little thing just kind of changes you. Like you were probably born to be an asshole, but like if you didn't grow up in an environment that nurtured your asshole likeness or whatever, then I feel like it just changes who you are, and you either become a nicer person or a worse person. Like me, I think I know like who I am and like how I normally would want to react to things. But I feel like as I've lived life, things have like changed me on my reaction. I think that's better. That's a better way to put it. Is I feel like you're always gonna probably react to things the same way. Like however you were gonna react is how you're gonna react. I think the difference in how we're like creating ourselves is how we respond. Because like if you have a lot of anxiety, you're probably always going to receive stuff anxiously. Like you're always going to have that anxiety. But like if you become more confident as a person, like you may take it as like an anxiety thing, and then you'll be able to be like, okay, I don't have to respond that way. That I don't have to respond the way that I feel. So then, so I think you're actively creating yourself, because if we're just born one way and no matter what, like we were going to be that way, I would have a lot of questions, because stuff happens and people, their opinions change. So if their opinions change, like if opinions can change, I feel like opinions is kind of what makes you a person, is having opinions and like having certain ways you feel about something. So if something that you feel was always intended for you to feel it that way, there's just no way. I'm gonna be honest. I'm talking in circles because I'm trying to like rationalize it in my head, but there's just no way that we're born whole. Like I'm sure we're born with like some personality things where like, yeah, you probably were always gonna like respond to this angry because like your parents were angry, but there's no way that like life doesn't have some type of effect on us, or like the people around us doesn't have some type of effect on us. Because if it didn't, then there'd be like no point in living. Damn it. Is comfort the enemy of growth? As much as I want to say it's not, it is. And I know from personal experience, like it is hard, because in life, I feel like we're always fighting to be comfortable. So it's hard to say like, oh, like you can only grow if you're uncomfortable. But like for me, like I'm trying to get into more like things that I enjoy, like doing content, just talking in general, or like other stuff like that. But like you feel uncomfortable when I'm doing this. Like right now, even though I'm talking and I'm looking at the camera, like I feel uncomfortable somewhat, not a lot. I've been doing it for a little while, but when you feel comfortable, you almost don't want to do anything. Like I will sit here, plan a whole thing out. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And then sometimes like almost the second that you become uncomfortable, it's just like, yeah, I'm done. Because nobody wants to be uncomfortable. Nobody wants to feel like they're like putting themselves out there. Everybody wants the end product. I'll be talking to some people like about this too, because everybody relates, but everybody wants to get the reaction from their end product. But nobody talks about the fact that you got to go through that initial grind where like it gets muddy. Like you'll be doing stuff and you'll do like I've had videos where I'll work hard. Like I'll do the whole video. I'll post the video. I'm like, yo, like I think this is gonna be it. Whether it's like a YouTube or it's like a little skit or something on like TikTok, like I'll post it and I'm like, yo, I think this is good. And then it'll be like, no. And so immediately it's like back on you to feel like, do I keep going in this like land of like being uncomfortable? Because dang, I hit the mic, my fault. But it'd be like that, because it's like, dang, like if I keep posting videos, I'm already like, you're already uncomfortable because you're putting yourself out there. So not only am I putting myself out there, my videos are not performing the way I want them to. So like it's like that double like beat down where it's like I'm uncomfortable, I don't know, what am I missing? What am I not doing right? Like, why is this video not blowing up? Or why is this video not doing good? And like that uncomfortableness wears on you. Like when you're really grinding for your dreams, like have you ever seen people really grinding? Like they look drained almost all the time. Like unless you made it like that, like quick, like day one you started doing something and it just worked out. If you're grinding, they be tired. Like you do not be having no sleep. Like they be grinding. They're like, yeah, my schedule is like this. And I just be like, ugh. Sometimes I be questioning. I be like, I don't know if I want it that bad. And I do want it that bad. I just got to push myself to do the things that I want to do, which is going to lead me to be uncomfortable. And I think it's okay to be uncomfortable. I think a bad mindset to have is to always be like, oh, well, just stop when you feel uncomfortable. That works for some things. Like, I think some things, yes, you become uncomfortable in like a social situation or something, like, yeah, leave. But chasing your dreams, you can't just stop when you feel uncomfortable. Because if you're going to live comfortably your whole life, then odds are you probably didn't achieve your dreams. Like you may have like a solid job, whatever, but did you really do the thing that you wanted to do? Like, and everybody has something different. Like some people genuinely just want a good job. They don't care what the job is, just a good job. And they'll work that job, start a family, and they're like, yo, boom, I'm good. Like I grew to what I wanted to be. But some people are like, nah, I need more. And so you got to live in that like constant like anxiety, like weight on your neck. You're just like, like it's weighing you down. Like, man, like why is this not working? Like I'm not sleeping a lot. I'm not hanging out with my friends that much. Like, but I think it's all worth it. Like no one ever talks. This always, first of all, it always makes a good story. When you do make it, and I hope everybody makes it, but when you do make it, everybody loves to tell their story about their grow up, like what all they went through. And people always like respect that and like take it on themselves. Like, you've seen someone talk about their success and they're explaining all the stuff they go through, and it just sounds so similar to you. And you're like, man, like if he did that, like I can do that. And that's kind of where I'm at, where I'm just like, yo, there's so many people that have done stuff that I can do it. I just need to live in my uncomfortableness. Like I'm too obsessed with being comfortable. I'm too obsessed with like being in a space that I feel safe. I think safe is also that, like when you're stuck in a space that feels safe, you don't really know what's outside that space. Like I'm not gonna promise you it's gonna be anything good. Like you may go and have a terrible time. Like I don't know, like whoever's listening, you may not want to do content, but I'm gonna use that as an example because it's easy. Or like let's just say you're an actor. You want to be an actor, so you put yourself out there, you go do some auditions and stuff, and then maybe you don't get anything. Or even worse, maybe you get one job and it's a terrible job and it ruins your career or like scars you for life. You cannot guarantee that won't happen. It absolutely can. And I'm not gonna say it will happen, but for some people it will happen. But you can't let that be the determining factor in why you don't do something. Because if that's going to be the determining factor, then like, what's the point? Like, what's the point of even sleeping and waking up in the morning? Like, chasing your goals is like over half the battle. Like, it's what gives you like a reason to live. That's just my opinion. All right, this next one kind of just ties into the one before, but I already wrote it down and I don't feel like making new prompts, so it'll be okay. What does a good life actually mean? I think a good life is you living the life that you want to live. I feel like that's vague, but like there cannot be a singular good life. Like, oh, I'm rich with a big family. Like not everybody really wants that. So a good life is so individual. It's like so subjective. Like for me, a good life is, like I said, like achieving some of the things I want to do, or not even some. Like living a good life is seeing growth. Like for me, living my good life would be seeing my growth, seeing me do things that I was nervous about or uncomfortable with, and like actually achieving them and doing better. Like that's a good life for me. But that's not a good life for everybody. Some people would like, I don't like, I'm not gonna get too personal with like me, but like in like the job I work, but I have an okay job. Like I make a solid amount of money. Like some people would be in my situation and be I just hit the mic again. I gotta chill. They would be perfectly fine. Like they'd be like, yo, I will take that and I will run with it, and I don't need nothing else. But for me, I'm like, man, I wake up, I almost said every morning, I work nights. I do not wake up every morning. But every time I wake up and I'm like putting on my clothes and I'm about to go to work, I just be like, man, this is not what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. And that's what I mean. Like, I think that's the difference between like your good life and your like not good life is, what do you want your good life to be? Because like I even know people personally, like growing up, that like they lived in like a low income neighborhood, had a what some people would consider like a shitty job, didn't pay that much, but like, yo, all they wanted to do was go to work, come home, drink, sleep, and go back to work. And they were happy as hell to live that life. Like that life was their good life. For me, that's hell. But for someone else, that's their good life. So that's why like good life to me is, it's just what do you want your good life to live like, be like? And like I said, my good life is chasing and achieving. Because I mean, yeah, I could just get everything handed to me, which at this point, like when I was younger, I used to be like, no, I would have worked for it. But at this point, I'm like, I don't know if they just handed it to me. But I think I would want to chase and achieve my dreams. And upon achieving dreams, continually giving myself more dreams. Because if I just give myself set dreams and you achieve it, like, oh, I want to do content, I start doing content, it does well. What do I do now? Like, you constantly have to have a revolving door. But for me, a good life is just living in your like purpose, the purpose that you chose for yourself, and then accepting whatever comes out of it. Like if I don't want to say that, in a scenario that's never going to happen, in which I do not achieve like my dreams, that would not be the good life for me. That would be a life that I had to settle into. And some people react differently. Like some people have to settle into their life and they're probably just like, well, it is what it is. Me, I'd be like, yo, where the hell did I go wrong? Like how did I mess up where I ended up having to just be satisfied with whatever was given to me? Like that's not it. But like I said, that's my good life, but your good life may be different. So live your good life. Okay, so I put our anime villains often more honest than the heroes. Now, if you don't watch anime, that's cool. You can just interpret it, because I'm not going to speak about anything specific. You can just interpret it as any kind of villain or any kind of story or whatever, any kind of antagonist. But like, are villains often more honest than heroes? And I always say, like, there's a reason we hate villains, and it's because they're realistic. Like, of course, like, I want to go and throw this out there. Do not bring up any kind of like demon king, demon lord thing, because that's different. That's like so out there science fiction that does not count. I'm referring to like more like human villains, like in stories where like maybe they still have powers, but like, you know what I mean? Like they're more like human in realistic mental terms. But like, the reason I feel like they're more honest is because usually they're just more realistic to who we are. Like, if you notice, characters in shows that people usually hate the most are the ones that are most like real life people. Like, villains are usually people who were almost heroes. Like, they're like a step or two away from heroes, and then something just affects them. Like, and a lot of times it's things that they can't even like change. Like a villain that grew up and they're justified, like maybe they went through like a genocide or something like that, and it's like this entity that the hero is like connected with. He talks about how it's like not perfect and all the negative things they did, and a lot of times the heroes, like, they understand, but they're like, oh, but this isn't the right way. But it's like, so you say this isn't the right way, but you can never say what is the right way. Like, sometimes stories to me they don't end satisfying. Like, I love a satisfying villain where the hero defeats the villain, and at the end, like, we as the audience are not satisfied because we're kind of like, dang, like, was he really wrong though? And then it goes to like this weird like hero crisis thing where like now they're trying to figure out like, well, damn, like, is there something I need to change? Like, what caused him to do this? Like, that's what I like. That's when I feel satisfied. Is give me I don't want to say a redeemable villain, but give me a villain that's a villain for a reason. Now, like when you have villains that are just like throwaway, like, oh, just pure evil, then no, whatever, cool. Okay, those people, I don't think they're honest. Yeah, they're liars. But like the realistic villains where it's like, no, like there is a reason I'm a villain. You're in my story, like yes, that's a good one. The story is where the villain is like the hero is my villain in my story. Those are the good ones. Like that's always a good premise to me, is like, give me a story where it's not a justifiable hero and a justifiable villain. Give me a story where the only reason this person is a villain to us, the audience, is because the main character is our main character. Like in a scenario where that villain would have been a hero and someone other person's, like a lot of those stories where like the villain has people behind him and he's doing it for a reason. Like I love those, because then it gives you like that weird psychological thing. Like I can't really say the same thing as like Attack on Titan or something like that, but like, you know what I mean? Like give me a villain that's like you question, like, damn, was he right? Maybe he was right. Maybe I should be on his side. I'm on this main character side because, he's the main character, but maybe what he's saying makes like sense. Like if someone came in, killed my entire family or something like that when I was like 4, and then tortured me for all these years, and then the government just changed and you want me to just get over it, like, no. Like I think that's absolutely well, I ain't gonna say it's okay. I'm not gonna say it's okay, but I think it's justifiable for you to have like burned this person or whatever. Like I can't say Dofi. Like Dofi had like Doflamingo from One Piece has a redeemable story, but he's not a redeemable person. Like if you took someone else and put that, like Corazon, like if Corazon, he's redeemable. He went through that stuff. Well, he didn't end up being a villain though, but like if he was like a lighter villain or whatever, that would be redeemable. It's like, all right, you went through all of this, these people did all these things to you, and now you want revenge. I feel like we villainize revenge, and for good reason, because sometimes you got to be able to let stuff go. Like some stuff is taking it too far. Like, oh, they killed my mom, so I'm gonna destroy the world. It's not, those don't equal each other. Okay, so sometimes it's too extreme, but sometimes it's just eye for an eye, man. Like I went through all this stuff, and now I need to feel my satisfaction for revenge. And they're usually pretty honest about their motives too. Like heroes will be like, oh, I just want to do this. But then a lot of times I love also when villains give them like, when they just mess them up mentally. Because they'll be like, so you say you want to be a hero for this reason. And then they'll give them like a prompt where it's like, do you actually want to be a hero for that reason? Or do you want to be a hero for these reasons? And then the hero is like, no, no, I want to be a hero for this reason. And then the villain just keeps like attacking them like mentally, like just psychological trauma, like a chef's kiss. So yes, to end the prompt, I do think villains are more honest than heroes. Okay, this is my last prompt, but why do we emotionally attach to fictional characters more deeply than real people? I think it's because it's easy to connect with someone that can do something that you cannot do and that you want to do. Like even like the hero, like people always joke where they're always like, oh, like dudes want to be heroes. And it's like, to a certain extent that's a joke, but like I think most people, I'm speaking generally, like someone could come in and be like, actually no, most people want to be a villain. But I think most people want to be a hero. Now, whether when faced with adversity and we all had powers, would they be a villain? Probably. But most people want to be a hero. Like I want to be the coming down to save someone, and like the dramatic music in the background, and like the people are like, oh my God, like it's all coming down to him, like save us. Like everyone wants to be that person. Like nobody wants to be walking through life, not much going on, just a background character. I feel like most people feel like they're a background character. Now you got a couple people who feel like they're a main character, but they probably need to get off that because they're not a main character. But most people feel like a background character. Not in their own lives, of course. You should. Well, you should absolutely. I'm gonna tell you this right now. You need to be the main character in your life. But I feel like most people get like side character syndrome, where they're just like, it's like, yo, am I an NPC? Because I just get up, do the same thing every day, and that's it. And I get that, because like if all you do is get up, go to work, come home, eat, sleep, wake up, go to work, it's kind of what an NPC does. And I definitely have felt that before, where I've had like too many days of like doing the same thing, and then like I'll spend my days off resting to go back. Almost like I got to update. Listen, we've all felt like an NPC. And people who say they haven't, like, yeah. But I think we just emotionally attach them because it's like, yo, like I could never do that. Like even like recently with My Hero, like shout out my boy Deku. But but like Deku, he's a hero, and like he didn't have any powers, and then he was granted this access to all these powers, and like the weight of the world is on his back, and it's like, yo, like the satisfaction of like saving everyone and like fighting through your limits, and like going, like to even go back to my earlier part of the video where I talked about like comfort versus like adversity. Like it's so hard to live in adversity for us, but fictional characters do it all the time. Like they constantly like adversity, everything is against them, and they just work so hard to achieve like these like super goals, like goals like no one can even like fathom. Like in their world, they're like, yo, like how did this person do that? Like we connect to them because that's what we want to be. Man, like if I could just fight through adversity, like insert whatever character, like life would be so much easier. And it doesn't even always have to be like an action show. Like there's shows that I've seen where like it'll be like an anime character who wants to learn to draw, and they'll like grind it out. Like, and you know, anime be dramatic, but like it'd be like this dramatic, like long thing, and they'll grind it out, and they'll be like, yo, like blood on their hands, and like, I did it, I learned to draw. And I feel like as a consumer, as someone who's like consuming that content, you're just like, man, like I have things I want to fight that hard for. But it's easier said than done. It's so easy to say, I want to do this, that, or like the third. Like it's so easy to say I want to do that, but you know what's hard? Doing it is hard. It's so easy to make a list of things you want to do, schedules, plans. It's so easy. And then when you actually look at that, like have you ever made a list or like made goals, and then you go like not in the moment when you're making them, but you ever circled back to that goal and look and be like, I ain't did not a bit of this. Like I haven't done a single step towards this goal. Fictional characters don't be doing that. And even when they do, it's like a plot device. So they'll make them be too comfortable and then give them something that shows them that they're not working hard enough. And then they eventually just start working hard enough. Whereas I feel like a lot of times for like in real life, like humans, sometimes we don't get that moment in the right moment. Sometimes people don't wake up until they're like 50, and that's when they realize, oh shit, like I didn't work hard enough. I didn't try to get where I wanted to be. But like anime characters, they be figuring that out like episode 3. It could be episode 3, they're like, oh shit, like I gotta work harder. So there's just so many things. I think fictional characters, they're just who we want to be. Like you may not want to be a hero, but like maybe you want to be a business owner, or maybe you want to be like, you know what I mean? Like there's always something where you want to be someone that works so hard, that achieves certain things, and you just feel like you can't, but they can. And then I'm gonna end it with this. You may also just be someone who's like, yeah, nah, I don't want to hear all that. I just want powers. And that is also very valid, because I too would want powers. Because powers, I mean, I think powers in a world where other people have powers would be cool. Powers in a world where I only have powers feels like it's a setup for me to be like cut open by the government. So maybe not, like I don't think I would want to have powers and it just be me, because also I feel like that tests your mental. Because imagine if you had the power in your hands, like no one could stop you. it'd be hard not to be a villain. I genuinely believe that I wouldn't. Like, I would want to believe that I would be a hero, because I feel like I just give hero vibes, you know. just a hero. But I just feel like I'd be a hero. But you don't really know that. Like, you got a bunch of powers. You may be like, hey, sorry, yo, give me all the money in the world. But all right, this is the first episode of this podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I was supposed to record this so long ago, but like I said, like, gotta live in that uncomfortableness. I just kept pushing it along, but I think this is gonna be a good start, like a good thing for me to start doing. And if you enjoyed, hopefully you like and subscribe. And I'm gonna be doing more of these. 2026 is gonna be my first year of many that I feel like I'm gonna progress and start really working on achieving my dreams and achieve those dreams and then give myself more dreams. But either way, appreciate it. Once again, I'm DZ. See you later.